Good evening. I'm Rob Giordano, the sheriff here in Sonoma County. I'm going to go ahead and get started tonight on this update. Let me start first with the missing persons. Still working missing persons report. Still working on remains collection and searching, unfortunately. 1,485 reports of missing people now. 1,250 located safe. So again, still communication issues, still working through that. 235 still outstanding. We've made a couple more recoveries. We're up to 19 fatalities now. The most important point of this particular press briefing is that this is still a very dangerous event. I'm finding a lot of people asking questions about why they can't go into their homes and why they can't go back, and PG&E's doing a great job turning on power. AT&T's putting up phone service, and a lot of people don't understand what the issue is and why they can't get back into their homes. I really want to impress upon people, please stay out of the evac zones. Stay out of the burned areas. It's still extremely dangerous. They're expecting wind tonight. A lot of preparations are going in to keep people safe. We just started evacuating the Alexander Valley area north of Healdsburg because that fire is moving. So this is still a very dangerous event. In light of that, in talking to people, we see so many who weren't affected by the fire don't understand the danger of the fire. And I'll tell you myself, I saw some video footage from it and couldn't believe how fast it was and what was going on. So today, what I want to do is actually show some footage of what our deputies went through on Sunday night into Monday morning. So the first 4 hours of the fire. We put together some footage from that of what they were doing on Mark West Road in the Santa Rosa area and the Mark West area. Some of the rescues and the evacuation work. Because I think it really tells the story of how dangerous and how difficult the event was. And I got to get through people. I got to get people to understand that this is a dangerous event. It is not over. Stay away from the houses and understand the severity of what this fire can do. So first warning is there's a couple of graphic language parts in this tape. If you're running live, they are not cut, so you will hear them on that tape. So that's the warning. We're going to stream it on Facebook Live, and we're not going to cut out the graphic language. So it's really not appropriate for children if you're watching on Facebook Live. But it's absolutely human, and it's very real, and it's very honest and very transparent. So we're just going to show it like it is. So with that said, I'm going to ask him to start the tape. I'll answer questions, watch the tape, I'll answer about the tape and everything else. So we'll move to that. So the point I want to emphasize is that's a terrible scene. That's one deputy's camera, minutes of clips from the hours he was up there. There were 15 other deputies up there doing the same thing. I personally listened to the radio during that entire time while it was happening and heard all the radio traffic, and it just never stopped. So the question was, there was a report that there were one of the bodies located from the Journey's Inn trailer park. Very, very well could be. Our search team spent a while there today, so that could actually be it. I'm sorry? How is the search team coping? You know, it's a difficult job, but it's what they do. They do it all the time. And I've said this before, and it's very interesting to me, having done this job for a lot of years. It's hard work. It's difficult work, but it's rewarding in the respect that you realize you're doing something really important to families, and you take some pride in that piece of it, and that balances out some of that, but it truly takes an emotional toll on you. Yes, so that's actually so the question was about the safety for the workers in these environments. Obviously a lot of dangers out there. There's actually a lot of hazmat concerns, so they're suiting up, using hazmat protective gear to go in and do this. And heat and fire is a big issue. They're checking for safety. So yeah, they're using hazmat gear to get in to do this, but they're doing fine. These people, this is what they do. We're using mostly search and rescue people, and we send them out to search for all kinds of things. So not that they search fires all the time. Some of them have that experience, but this is not unusual for them. No, we have not looked at all the video. I have spoken to many of the deputies at Camp the Hill that night when they came off the hill. Their eyes were red and burning from all the smoke. The intensity was unbelievable. I had a deputy come down off Mark West saying, "I've never seen a fire move like that. It was unbelievable. We had to get off the hill or we were going to get burned up." And I was like right there when he got off the hill, and you could see the intensity and what he saw. I've never been in a fire like that. The look on his face, I don't want to be there. This was early, and the story I'm telling was early, right before Fountain Grove, but Fountain Grove was starting to burn about the same time. It was all kind of at once. They were still doing it in different areas. The actual rescues and evacs in the entire Mark West area went on for several hours. Big area, they were just reaching out further and further. So that little clip of tape you saw goes on for hours if you watch, if you're able to listen to the radio tracker for hours, because they just keep moving the evacuation area out. Oh, I'm very, very, very happy they're still safe, because that's a difficult thing to do. I've told this story too. There was a deputy stuck at Mark West Lodge who was trying to come down the hill with a group of people who got stopped by fire, so he pulled into Mark West Lodge. Then they tried to go back and got stopped by fire. And then other people trying to get out saw the deputy and met him. So the deputy and 35 people sat there at Mark West Lodge while the fire burned around him until they could get out. So they were just lucky. Deputies injured? No. Yeah, the question was if we had a chance to give our deputies counseling or any support for that. And the answer is yeah, we actually have a crisis support team have already come into the office. We've had counselors offer their services. We have a peer support program. We have an employee assistance program that people can reach out to. So yes, we've started, and yes, we'll do more. So I'll talk about looting for a second and arrests. The looting in our jurisdiction the looting reports haven't been significant. So there's been calls of what we call suspicious persons in the areas, and some of them just from residents that got in. We've asked them to leave. It's been really uneventful. We've made 5 arrests since Monday for people that we suspected were looting. Different charges. Some of them had warrants. One of them had a gun. But we didn't catch anybody looting, but we suspected that's what they were there for. But no, not a significant problem in our jurisdiction yet.
Any reports of arson?
You know what? I haven't heard of any reports of arson. I shouldn't say it that way. I heard them talking about some arson stuff, but there's no reports of arsons in our area that I'm aware of.
And then another question. Of the evacuated areas, do you know what neighborhoods will be able to be repopulated soon?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's unrealistic to consider that. And let me say it like this. PG&E, CAL FIRE, all the repopulation teams, they're working really hard. PG&E's up there putting everything back together. The other utility servers up there putting everything back together. They're cooling the area. They're doing what they have to do to move people back in. But the reality is that we're really worried about where this fire's going tonight and tomorrow. So we're not going to put people back in to have the fire blow out tonight. So I think realistically, I wouldn't even think about going back till Monday. And that's just my best guess on what I'm seeing happen.
Thank you.
Alexander Valley. So the question is, what's happening? Alexander Valley is up. It's north of Healdsburg in the Geyserville area, but it's actually Healdsburg area. And what happens is the fire's moving south. It's moving south towards residences, so we're evacuating that area. Right now, mandatory evacuations. Yes.
What is the current status of the city of Sonoma?
Current status of the city of Sonoma. Last I heard, it was doing well. They're looking at potential areas out there that could be a problem, but we haven't had any significant movement. So I'm going to stress again, Sheriff's Office Nixle, Sheriff's Office Facebook. We're posting on Nixle Spanish and English. We're posting on Facebook Spanish and English. And they're transcribing my press conference into Spanish on Facebook. So Sheriff's Office Facebook, Sheriff's Office Nixle. The alerts on Nixle, I'm using it myself. I look at the phone, I get it before it gets to me through the chain what they're evacuating. So it's working really well. So pay attention to that. Remember, advisory, in this kind of fire, leave. There's no reason to get stuck in traffic waiting around when they tell you to prepare to evacuate. Find a way out, get out now before you have to do that. I would say anywhere near any of these fires you should be concerned, but watch for the advisory. They're really good about putting that out ahead of time, and that's what we're waiting for. And I'm not aware of any coming yet.
I've heard of a report of a fire in Forestville. Is that true?
I haven't heard anything about that. All right, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Get the word out, keep people out of the zones, and stay safe.
Good question.